You're listening to the Awkward High-Five podcast. You can follow along in your book. You'll know it's time to turn the page when you hear the chimes ring like this.
El Guapo is on his way.
Someday the people of this village will have to face El Guapo. We might as well do it now.
In a way, all of us have an El Guapo to face someday. For some, shyness might be their El Guapo. For others, a lack of education might be their El Guapo. For us, El Guapo is a big dangerous guy who wants to kill us. But as sure as my name is Lucky Dave, the people of Santa Poco can conquer their own personal El Guapo, who also happens to be the actual El Guapo.
Shut up, Barefoot Shark. You're gonna get us killed. Welcome to the Awkward High-Five podcast. I'm Devin.
And I'm Richie, but Dev, why are we under the desk with the lights off and whispering?
He's here, dude. He's here.
Who's here?
Our arch nemesis, the KB. I know it. I know he's here. He's here.
How is he here? He's not here.
When I was coming in the studio today, I checked the AHI5 mailbox to get all our fan mail, and there was a fucking doll that looked like me with a knife in it and a note that just said "you."
Really?
Yeah. And the strangest thing, no fan mail.
Yeah, did we ever get that shit?
Well, no, but I had a really good feeling about today. Anyway, dude, he's here. I can feel it. He's here. He's going to strike soon.
Dev, I think you're overreacting.
I don't know, man.
I get the fucking doll with the knife in the mailbox all the time. It's usually just ex-girlfriend or someone I owe money to. We can't do this whole show down here. Let's just get up and turn the lights on and start this fucking show.
Okay. If you think we'll be fine.
Yeah, put them shits on.
All right, I'm going to turn on the lights. I'm turning on the lights right now. Okay, shh. I'm turning on the lights. Holy shit, dude. There's a dot on your forehead. He's got a sniper rifle. Richie, get down. Richie,
Dev,
get down.
Dev, relax. I put that shit there.
What?
You know I've been going through the little Gwen Stefani, just a girl face thing lately?
Oh, yeah. Now that you mention it, your outfit is a little bananas. But whoa. What is that in the window over there?
What?
There's somebody in the window over there, dude. It's him. It's behind the curtains. He's saying it's him.
Hey, come on, man. You know it's my cardboard cutout of Ted dancing. You know I rock the one I took from him, that set of 3 men and a baby. I bring that shit everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, let's start the show, I guess.
Malone.
So, welcome to... Whoa, wait, what is that in the tree? There's something in the tree. Oh my god, is that him? Is he hanging himself? He looks like he's jumping out of a tree and hanging himself, dude.
Dev dog. Holy shit, bro. Relax. That's my pet emu. Sometimes when she's near the tree, it looks like a midget hanging himself. You know that thing?
Yeah, the pet emu. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I just guess I'm overreacting. I just never had an arch nemesis out to destroy me and my podcast before, so I'm just a little tense right now, you know? But I guess you're right. Let's just get the show started, you know? You know what's even funny, man? It looks like you have a tranquilizer dart sticking out of your neck. Must be part of that whole 90s ska motif you got going on.
Nope. That was him. He just shot a tranquilizer dart into my neck and ran away.
Well, why aren't you unconscious then?
Because it's going to take more than a tranq gun to knock down RTG.
Rich, those are the things they use to knock out elephants.
No, I could party harder than an elephant.
Wait, there's a note attached to this too. Hang on, let me take a look.
Oh, another death threat.
No, this one's short. It just says...
Love note.
See you next Friday, shitbags. Okay, anyway, I guess we're still of the hunted. I don't know what to do about that, but our arch nemesis is getting all up in our shit.
Yep. At least he didn't break any windows.
Anyway, let's just do the show. Welcome to the Awkward High-Five podcast. My name is Devin.
I'm Richie.
Thanks for listening to us. We are actually doing this on a Saturday. I don't know how many of you people out...
I called out.
You did. You were the first official call out of the Awkward High-Five podcast.
You did file for a day off once for the Mets game.
That was before we went live, my friend. That was when...
Live! Now we're live!
Well, you know, before we put this shit up. That was when we were all willy-nilly just seeing if this could even work. But you're right. I did call out once. Okay, so we're even. You got to call out. I got to call out. Mine was for the Mets game. Yours was for a medical issue for somebody that you know very well, and it's a little bit more serious. Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Okay.
But see, I made up for the day off the next day.
If I
get a +1.
Oh yeah, you're right. You are making it up right now. If there is anybody out there who is like big enough listeners of this program, and I doubt it, that you know our schedule because we normally put out episodes every Tuesday night and Friday night.
Want to kill us?
I apologize that there was not an episode last night. We're making that up now, right now on Saturday, because we are committed to giving you people at home the finest experience, the finest podcast experience that there is. But Richie did have a little thing go on last night. We couldn't get together. We couldn't do the thing.
And you got to experience our little acting skills right there.
Oh, yeah. Well, that wasn't acting, my friend. There was a doll with a knife. There was a fucking doll with a knife in it, and it said you. I swear to God. In our AHI5 mailbox. That arch nemesis, though, it looks like he is he will not relent.
Nope. And was there anything in the mailbox? Did you really go to the mailbox?
Yes. No.
Let's talk about the mailbox. Do we have a mailbox?
We actually did. We actually got an email. We get emails all the time. It's going to surprise you now, Richie, but most people send.
That's how people talk?
People send mail what they call electronically, which is email. It's the other mail, which is now politely referred to as snail mail. I know that's how you get in touch with me. That's how we're always out of sync on the show. Is I'll
text messaging is for the children.
You always write me a letter scrolled up with a little thing and then have a pigeon send it over.
I do, and just so you ladies out there know, I still write love notes on fine stationery,
but
and little ones by the bedside.
But most people email us. So we do have an email that we will get to in a little bit because it was an interesting topic, kind of off of what we were talking to, and we'll come back to that. How are you doing? How's everything?
I'm good. I'm good. Sorry about the tardy, but
no, it's okay. That's fine.
I came back.
This is a podcast. Nobody knows.
I know. Let's tell them.
There might be
late.
There might be two people.
Day late.
There might be two people out there that last night were like, "Why isn't there a new?"
Imagine that. I wonder if that happened.
Well, if there is, thank you for being
awesome
in touch with the AHI5. But we are doing. This is kind of a pregame right now, although we're not drinking.
Yeah, I wish we were drinking.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah.
But we're going to a concert together. Mm-hmm. This is the first concert that we've gone to together in a very, very, very long time, right?
The last one can't be the last Get Up Kids show, was it?
That was 10 years ago.
I
mean, I've seen them multiple times since then, but the one in Starland.
Yeah, I haven't seen him after that.
No.
That was the last time I saw him.
Well, anyway, we're going to We Ain't Got No Place to Go. Let's go to the kind of punk rock. But
yeah, I was wondering what you were going to say there.
Maybe more in the emo, but I just call it regular
Country,
rock
emo.
because I don't want to admit that I've ever listened to an emo band show. What is your...
Definitely going to be a plaid shirt or two.
Yeah. There might be some swoopy hair.
Yeah.
And is that even a thing anymore? Do kids even dress that way anymore?
I don't know. I don't know anything. All I know is real skinny jeans, long boards, and like
yeah, but
Ray-Bans.
those are what are referred to as hipster kids. They don't listen to the Get Up Kids. The Get Up Kids are already like
You
an
don't
older.
think?
Yeah, they're not cool.
We're
they are
goats.
not cool.
We're all goats.
What is your? I was thinking about this today because I don't know why I always do this with music, but I always tend to rate I like shit, So I was getting ready for the show tonight, listening to some gay GUK fucking albums, and I asked myself, and I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite Get Up Kids album?
Okay. My favorite Get Up Kids album is definitely Guilt Show.
Guilt Show, really? Out of all of them?
Yes.
I thought that you were immediately going to say something to write home about.
No, that was my, mind battle. But also, what's it called? Oh, On a Wire.
Right.
On a Wire.
This is what I was going to say. I expected you to say something to write home about because, I don't know, 99.999% of the time you ask people what their favorite Ghetto Kids album is, they say something to write home about. And you know what? And I'm going to say it. That is my favorite Ghetto Kids album.
It's an awesome album.
They haven't made a better album than that if you're really going to look at it. Although I think all their albums are great, including the last one, even though there was kind of more of a New Order 80s electronic kind of thing. But I was going to mention On a Wire because I don't think that there has ever been an album that I listened to that I changed. I did a 180 on as much as On a Wire.
What do you mean by that?
So basically, when something to write home about came out, that was like a big thing. You know what I mean? That album just blew up. Everybody loved it, rightfully so. It's an amazing album, well crafted album, and I fell in love with that album so much that I couldn't wait to hear the next Get Up Kids album, which I expected to be Something to Write Home About Part 2. And then they put out this slow, almost kind of like country weird album, with like all these ballads and all this crazy shit going on. So when I heard that when it came out as a younger chap,
And what are you classifying as the country album?
on a Wire, that was
Right, but the Guilt Show came out before On a Wire, and after
absolutely
Something
not.
Right.
No,
What?
Something Right Home About On a Wire, then Guilt Show, and
Are you sure about that?
100%
When
positive.
when did On a Wire come out?
It was the next album after Something Right Home About.
Yeah, but when?
I don't know the exact years, but I'm telling you. So anyway, so I thought,
I'm gonna have to put money on that wager, Devin.
really,
Yeah.
how much? I know you don't have any money, but I'll gladly
I don't.
take all of it.
I'm gonna say
I will bet you a beer,
Okay,
one fine malt beverage.
it has to be malt.
No,
Oh, okay. I was
No.
like, we're betting 40s now.
no, it doesn't have to be. At the show
St. Odds,
tonight,
please.
I don't have to look it up because I know I'm right. But anyway,
that.
what I was saying is, what I was trying to say is that I was so disappointed in that album when it came out that I like listened to it once or twice and I was like, but then for some reason, I guess there was enough on there that I kind of like pushed myself through. Like I kept listening to it because I was like, at least this is something from a band that I really, really like. And then after about 5 or 6 listens to it, I became obsessed with that album.
Really?
And it's now my second favorite by far. Like it's almost up there with Something to Write Home About. And they're 2 completely different albums. But that got me thinking how funny that is when shit like that happens. Because a lot of my favorite albums, I guess what I'm trying to say, are albums that I might not have liked at first. Have you ever had that happen?
Well, that happens with a lot. I mean, I don't know about complete albums, but it always happens with songs. Like sometimes songs are so good that it takes you a minute to really understand it,
Right.
Because that song was always there, and no matter how long it took you to like it, you understand how good it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like when that album came out, I didn't compare it to the other albums. I just liked it because it took me a while to like it the way like as big as it did in my head. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But once I did, there were songs on that album that I absolutely hated. Like
On a Wire.
Yes.
Okay.
Like those
Kansas Campfire, that song.
Hate it.
Yeah.
That's one song that I still hate off that album.
I love it.
There's a song on that album.
They will play that
That's
tonight, by the way.
they probably will. That's kind of like that song, but I ended up really liking it. It almost reminds me of like a Beatles song in a way. It's something about
What's the hook? Sing the hook.
I'm over the worst ideas when everything
Yeah.
comes, and it's like a lot of keyboards.
Yeah,
and shit,
it kind of does
organ.
that Doors
Organ.
kind of organ
Yeah,
line.
yeah.
It's kind of like a carnival thing.
Now that I get that song, it is fucking amazing. That
Good song. Yeah. I think that's what pulled me back into that album is the songwriting is really, really good. I wanted a more upbeat kind of like with some breakdowns and
rockin'
stuff,
song,
like kind of
yeah.
thing. But they gave a completely different thing, and I appreciate when bands do that. That's one of the reasons I love Bowie so much is because every album is so different. When bands go in different directions and are willing to lose an audience. That's the craziest thing about it.
It has to be good though.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly. You have to. That shows confidence in an artist.
Right.
So
right.
like,
it's amazing.
So and they could have easily, like I said, just made Something to Write Home About Part 2 and put out an extension of that album, with songs which I'm sure would have been great or whatever.
Yeah.
But they decided they wanted to go in this direction. They went in it, and even though for me it didn't work at first, it ended up working really, really well because now I listen to that album all the time.
Well, that's why I think the Guilt Show was kind of like a nice transition into it because I think the Guilt Show came out in between there.
It didn't though.
Why, you got the facts
of
right
course.
there? What does it say?
Something to Write Home About came out in 1999. On a Wire came out in 2002. Guilt Show came out in 2004.
Are you serious?
I know that. I know.
Guilt Show came out in 2004?
Yeah.
Then why do I associate the Guilt Show with college?
You don't.
Because we graduated in 2003.
You associate the Guilt Show with us driving around in the van listening to that album in different states of the United States of America, and that's what we did, and that was in 2004. So anyway.
What? All right.
Yeah. What? I'm telling you.
Damn, my memory failed.
Yeah, that's weird. See? That's the only time that you're...
Yeah.
I don't know why I've always had like a thing where I like I could tell you fucking with bands, I don't know. I'm like one of those nerds that read shit all the time.
You read the booklet.
So anyway, my whole point of that was, I think that's kind of a universal thing. It's like I think there, as far as albums go, and I don't even know how many people actually listen to full albums anymore. I know I sure as hell do, but like there,
probably nobody though.
There's been a lot of albums that I could think of that I didn't.
Another one. I want to know another one.
Let me see.
Any punk rock albums do that to you?
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like that's more of like a musical type thing.
Well, do you have any? Let me think of.
That I didn't like at first, but now I love it.
Yeah. And you gotta like love it. You know.
All
what I mean?
right.
Oh, you know what? I could give you another one.
Oh, I know a band that does that to me.
Yeah.
What, you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Oh, Coheed and Cambria.
Okay.
They always do that to me.
You
I'm always
listen to
like,
it first.
What
and you're-
is this crap? And then I'll listen to it and I'm like, holy shit.
And you're like, that YIO was the
That
best
fucking
YIO
Claudio,
of all
man.
time.
Dude's got more talent in a finger than a lot of
I'll give you an album that did it to me in almost the same way that On the Wire did it to me was Potemkin City Limits by Propagandy.
Okay.
I was so fucking into Today's Empires, Tomorrow's Ashes when that came out. And that's still one of my favorite albums by them. That when Potemkin City Limits came out, it almost sounded like a metal record.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Right, yeah, compared
Exactly.
like Today's Empires, and I'm sorry for anybody who is out there who don't know these bands. We'll get through this quick.
Yeah.
But Today's Empires had such melody over the songs, even though they were still hard songs. There was like all melody and everything, and then it seemed like Potemkin City Limits really didn't have that. It was more straightforward, kind of like almost like metal songs, you know. And it took me a while to get around to that, but once I did, that is now one of my favorite albums.
Really?
Yeah, by far. You know, like hands down.
It definitely rips the fucking walls off. No
Yeah,
doubt.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm talking about, and
I still loved it when they had that bassist guy. And I was like,
oh, from the Weaker Things.
I love that dude.
John K.
I
Sampson.
love his voice.
Yeah, I love him too. That's why I like the Weaker Things, and they're done. They just
Really?
called it quits, called it a day. But yeah, I mean, I think
he's unique.
even if you have have you ever had say you have an album that you love. And sometimes songs that might be your least favorite song on that album end up becoming your favorite song on that album. Have you ever had that happen to you?
Maybe it has. It sounds like an extreme jump.
Oh, really?
But I'm sure maybe there's something similar to that has happened. But I can't think of one that's, went from
Really?
completely hate to completely love.
Not completely
like
hate.
That Get Up Kid song is a good example because I could think of it because it's, we talked about it.
Yeah,
right?
that's a good example. And then
But
you were like, oh
it
shit,
did
this
become
is
my
good.
favorite song in the world.
Yeah,
but
right.
I'm like, holy shit, it's a great song.
I've spent so much time with albums that I loved sometimes that has happened to me, so it's been like, oh, I like these 6 songs and there's 3 songs that are kind of like I considered filler and I might skip over if it whatever or something like that. And then I listen to the album so much that sometimes those other songs that I considered filler end up becoming one of my favorite songs in the album because maybe I didn't overplay them or something like that.
You know what's weird about albums? All right, so let's say the average rock album is like what? 13, 14 songs, let's say.
Yeah, it's normally
just
like
to throw
12,
out a number,
yeah, 12 to 15
whatever.
songs,
Like
right.
around that number is a good example for what I'm going to say. For some reason, let me know if you do this too, so I know I'm not a psychopath. For some reason,
I'm just going to tell you right
when
now,
I-
you are a fucking psychopath.
when I buy a record and I look at the order of numbers of the songs, right?
Okay.
I'll pre-classify the songs based on their position on the album, almost like it's a lineup for a baseball team. Like I'll think in my head, like tracks 2 and tracks 3 are gonna be the bomb. Track 4 is gonna kill it. Then it's gonna get into like the weaker side. Like it's just the way I picture an album
because you've made albums before and you know what it's like to put together a playlist for an album, so that you're just seeing that as an artist, and that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
You know, I do that with live bands all the time. I'll do that tonight when we're at the show tonight because I spent such a large part of my life
you would know
writing
if they're
set
flows.
lists.
Yeah.
That there has to be a certain flow to it. So I always judge set lists all the time. Yeah, no, I get that. That works. So you're like, oh, this song's batting cleanup or
something like that. Yeah,
Christy Rhodes batting cleanup.
something like that.
That's the
yeah. Now I'm thinking about their set tonight. I'm trying to think of like what songs they'll run into each other.
Well, I just saw the Get Up Kids back in March, so I know this is going to be a bigger show because
do they take a lot of breaks or no?
No,
They go from song to song.
yeah, pretty much.
Good.
Yeah, they don't ever talk that
Good,
much.
good.
But this is going to be a bigger thing because this is like their 20th anniversary. But we'll stop
okay.
talking about the Get Up Kids because I guarantee
yeah.
you there's a million. There's a bunch of people listening to this going, "Who the fuck is that band?"
Well, then they'll
Or
check
there's
it
a bunch-
out and be
there's-
like, "Holy shit, that band's awesome."
Or there's a bunch of people going, "Fuck that stupid fucking." that
I
band
don't think we
gets
have any metalheads in our
that band
audience.
gets a lot of hate from people.
Does it?
Yeah, a lot of
Really?
hate. I personally, I fucking love them. I love them.
Yeah.
So speaking of music, I guess I'll just get right into the email, which I thought was interesting. And this is another thing that I've talked about music. So a listener of ours and somebody we kind of know, is Stan, who he's been nice enough.
Oh yeah.
He's been nice enough.
I think he played bass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
From what I remember.
Been a fellow musician then. He's been listening to the show and he's been nice enough to send feedback and stuff like that. Contributed to the show. And he sent me an email a few days ago, and I guess he had just listened to I guess we were talking about Nirvana and 90s bands, so that might have been, that might have been
sure
two episodes ago or something like that. So he said, last episode's discussion about 90s bands reminded me that was the last time major label bands had any substance. I would agree with that.
Absolutely.
It also made me think about Nirvana. Like you guys, I've loved Nirvana since I first heard them. To turn a Neil Young lyric into a question, and this is also what Kurt used in the Suicide Note, is it better to burn out than to fade away? Nirvana has such a small catalog. If Kurt didn't commit suicide and they came out with another 5+ albums, do you think we'd still have the same affection for them? And that's an amazing question.
That is an amazing question.
Because it's true. And when people die young, their legacy lives on farther and harder than bands that stick around,
of course,
and kind of, you know. But it's weird that happens. You know?
Kurt is just bigger than life at this point
because he died when he was 27. It's the same thing. If Jimi had
and the small catalog that Stan mentioned, like if he put out like 50 albums. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's the same reason that people love are still obsessed with Jim Morrison and the Doors, or Janis Joplin, or any of those people. And it's a weird phenomenon.
Poor Winehouse. No one gives a shit about that.
Well, give that time. That'll come around. I still haven't watched that documentary.
I'm playing. I feel bad. Rest in peace, girl.
But that's your girl.
Yeah.
And so like I was gonna say with Jimi Hendrix, you know. I consider Jimi Hendrix the best guitar player of all time. I know a lot of guitar players consider him that. But the question is there in the same kind of way as this is if he just now were, I don't even know how old he'd be now, probably like in his 70s, 70s or something. But if he was just that old dude now playing in New York City every weekend at some club playing jazz music with a piano player or something like that, like let's say like BB King ended up doing, right? You could just go into the city and see him whenever you wanted and stuff like that. Into his 80s, would we still hold Jimi Hendrix in the same, you know, because there would have been so many, you know, that kind of thing. And it's the same thing with Nirvana, and it's a really good question. And I think the universal answer is no. You know, because let's just take Rolling Stones as an example.
What he did say, though, in his question was, would we have the same affection for Kurt?
Right.
Is he referring to we as, let's say, me, you, and him sitting around talking? Or is he referring to we as the public who loves Kurt Cobain? Because I know, it's hard to say because it's not the future. You know what I mean? But I feel like I would have the same amount of affection for him. I didn't build any affection on Kurt based on the fact that he killed himself young. You know what I mean? Because I loved Nirvana before he killed himself.
Okay, yeah, I get that. But see, the thing is that Nirvana never, and I'm playing the devil's advocate here because, you know, but Nirvana never gave us a reason to not like them. They never put out a bad album because they ended so soon.
Okay, yeah,
they
the
never
album
got
thing I see. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Out a shitty record, it would have been like, yikes, what happened to
now I know me and you are both bigger Nirvana fans than we are Pearl Jam fans, and that's more because of the music. But let's just use those bands because they're so intertwined with each other.
Okay.
If Eddie Vedder had died at 27 and they had only put out fucking 10 in Verses, and then Nirvana went on and put out another infinite amount of fucking records, would Pearl Jam be looked at as the major band?
No, absolutely not.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
Because in my mind, Pearl Jam did die after Versus. Well, they might as well have went down in a plane because I don't give a shit about Pearl Jam post Versus.
Right.
I'll take a call. Like if they sang a couple Vitalogy songs on their deathbed, that's one thing. But I could do without Vitalogy as well.
Yeah, I can honestly say Vitalogy was the last album of theirs I think that I even listened to.
I'll if I was stranded on a desert island, I would take fucking. Well, it's hard because of Incesticide, but let's just say I'll take Nevermind, In Utero, 10, and Versus. That'd be a killer desert island.
Oh, out of those two bands, you're saying?
Yeah. If that was your desert island choice, you know what I mean? Like Versus, after Versus, Pearl Jam may as well transform into different people and start a new band because I don't give a shit what they play.
So wait, you got to bring 4 albums out of the 2 bands? That's the criteria that you threw up here?
Yeah, Incesticide threw me for a loop, but I just wanted to make it even. You know what I mean?
I would say
that would just be a classic rip.
Let me see. If I had to choose 4 albums to bring on a desert island from both Nirvana and Pearl Jam, I would choose definitely In Utero, definitely Nevermind, Incesticide, and then I guess I would choose, that's right, Bleach.
Wait, why you have to take on Nirvana?
Because I don't give a fuck about Pearl Jam.
Yeah, but now you're breaking the rules.
No, you said I have to choose 4 albums from those 2 bands. I did. They just happen to be from one band.
You know what
Okay, fine. You could take Incesticide and give me Verses. I could listen to Verses. I could listen to Glorified G.
Just lie with one Pearl Jam. Of course, listen to Glorified G. What about the first song on the record? Remember that? Bing, 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 bing. Don't go on, man.
Yeah.
That song was fucking amazing.
That's that song, isn't it?
No, it's a different one.
Why would you want to ride me?
No, that's the second song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the
I got
first song
confused.
is just.
Wait, what's the one where he goes, whoa,
Oh, God,
I'd rather be.
That's Animal.
with,
That's the second jam.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. You know what happened with Pearl Jam, and whether Pearl Jam fans want to fucking admit it or not, is that if they listen to 10, that's like kind of like just I don't know. It's kind of like a safe album, you know. Like it might have sounded.
Every song is one word.
Yeah.
House, garden,
Right.
porch, walkway,
I know
street.
someday I'll have a beautiful life. But fucking like that was a safe album. It might have sounded a little edgy then because it was coming out of that Seattle sound that nobody knew about or whatever. But that was a fucking safe album. And what happened is they heard Nevermind and they were like, "Holy shit, we need it." And then is it a fucking coincidence that the next 4 and 5 songs on their next album?
Yeah, but didn't 10 come out after Nevermind? But they were probably recording around
I'm talking
the same
about
time.
Verses. Because Verses is as close to punk as Pearl Jam ever came.
Oh yeah, Versus was ripping.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what they did is they heard Nirvana and then you know what I mean and
Oh,
then
they
they're
heard
like our next
Versus.
album we got it.
Okay.
But here's another thing.
They had a chance to hear Nirvana when 10 was being recorded.
Yeah.
But they were already wrote those songs probably back in Mother Love Bone
Yeah,
days.
right.
Yeah. They were all jams.
And they were
then
like-
Versus came. Yeah, they're like, we gotta step it up a notch and wrote Rats.
Stop with that fucking face.
And they came out with Rats.
And Eddie Vedder was like, I don't care. They were in a meeting one day, and Eddie Vedder was like, I don't care what you guys think. We're putting Alive on this album. That is my song. You don't understand. I had a bad dad, and I need to write songs about it.
Yeah.
If you take away the absentee dad, you take away
Sat in
my
a
whole
room,
angle.
made that dumb face with his chin out.
And now, if you excuse me, there's a cargo short sale around the corner, and I'm gonna go buy a bunch of cargo
We're gonna
shorts.
hang from the rafters.
But
Yeah, that Versus record, man. Vedder was like, how fucking punk can we get? Rats.
which one is Rats?
He's just like, rats in my house, rats in my pants, rats in my face.
But isn't Versus also have elderly woman behind a counter in a small store in a small town?
Yeah, Versus is definitely a mixed bag.
I remember that. This was a very cool thing when Versus came out. What year was that?
9-3?
Yeah, so I was 13 years old, and I was up in my room doing whatever, and it was midnight. And my mom came up into my room and she was like, "Put on your shoes. I got to bring you someplace." This is,
Oh yeah, they went.
yeah.
Midnight, right?
And I was like, "What's going on?" And she brought me around the corner to what used to be, obviously it's not there
Now
anymore.
and Then Records.
Now and Then Records at Airport Plaza in
Nice.
Haslen, New Jersey.
Good name drop.
And they had a midnight release of Versus from Pearl Jam. She knew that I was kind of a Pearl Jam fan. She brought me there. We waited online, me and my mom, and then she bought me the tape.
The CD,
and I remember
compact disc.
I remember going home and listening to it, putting it in my Walkman and listening to it until the sun came up. I just listened to it all fucking night.
You could that album. You could.
Yeah, it was cool. All right, so you know what? I'm bringing Versus on if I can.
You gotta.
But this brings up. Okay, so I want to wrap up what we were saying before, though.
Stan's question?
Yeah.
All right.
So you're saying
I would have the same affection for Nirvana, absolutely.
So you don't think that they would be able to wear you out? Like
I'm not saying that could have never happened.
Can I give you a really good example?
Yeah.
And this might be a better example for me than for you.
All right.
But another band when we were very young that hit us really hard and really changed the way we looked at shit was Green Day.
Right.
I haven't listened to a fucking Green Day album. I can't tell you the last Green Day album I listened to. Honestly.
Right, but did you lose affection for Green Day because of that?
I haven't lost affection for, let's say, Dookie. Like, I'll still listen to Dookie, but yeah, I have.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, you'll never, for those albums that you love, no matter what happens to Green Day, you'll never love those albums any less, would you?
Right, but the band Green Day, I don't give a fuck. Here's what I'm saying: is Green Day has played.
So he's talking, and you're talking basically about the relevance of the band.
How you look at the band. You see what I'm saying? So like, so like with Green Day,
it's tough.
We loved Green Day. We that's a story for another time. But we like accidentally got to see them like really, really young before they even blew up and stuff. Kind of changed our perception of shit. That's kind of when we were like, okay, we should really get into this punk.
It was the best thing I ever seen in my life.
But what I'm saying is now, and for that band that had such a big influence on me when I was a child. They play all the fucking time. I don't give a shit. I'm not buying tickets.
Right, because we don't want to go to Giant Stadium to see them.
Whatever. I also don't want to hear them play songs off their last 4 albums because I don't give a fuck about them. Or 6 albums because I guess they put 3 out at the same time or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if Nirvana was to do that, would you feel the same way about Nirvana? You know, like, is there another world where Kurt Cobain is still alive? They've now put out another 6 albums. They're playing at Madison Square Garden tonight, and me and you are doing this podcast instead of going to see Nirvana. You see what I'm saying? I think that's an actual thing.
Okay, yeah, of course, yeah, that is an actual thing. But at that point, it's another thing that it's tough to look through those eyes because number one, me and you have never gotten to see Nirvana. Live. Right. So Green Day we've seen live more times than fucking anything. Probably more times than as many times as the fucking Souls. You know what I mean?
I don't know. But yeah, we saw them a lot.
We saw them enough to where they ain't surprising us. You know what I mean? We know what they're made of. You know what I mean?
I stopped going to see them on Nimrod was the last album I saw them play.
We actually went to go see them play for American Idiot.
Oh, that was the one at Giant Stadium, and it was horrible. And we were like, let's get the fuck. You know what?
Remember, we were requesting like Stewart and the Avenue and fucking Tight Wad Hill.
we were 17 miles away.
I know, but that was the joke. You know what I mean?
We went from
so like commercial.
We went from standing basically on stage watching them when they were 18 years old, the Stone Pony, to being like a mile away. And let me tell you that show at Madison Square Garden, which I was skeptical about going to anyway because I hate those big arena shows. It's just kind of not even worth it. Yeah, the sound sucks. You
Pyrotechnics over Billy Joe.
That is exactly what happened. They fucking came out. They were playing. You're right. This was American Idiot time because they were playing one of the songs off American Idiot. Yeah. And I'll never forget the point where I was just like, okay, I'm not a Green Day fan anymore. Is Billy Joe jumped up in the air, did the Pete Townsend fucking windmill on his guitar, and then landed in a split, and then like fireworks went off. And I was like, okay, not a Green Day fan anymore. You know what I mean?
He landed in a split.
He did. And and fireworks went off, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm sitting here in this giant arena watching this fucking hack band play these fucking songs. Like, you could come play Christie Road right now, I still won't fucking care.
Holy shit.
No.
The Pete Townsend windmill into a split. And as the split hit, fire...
Yeah, it fucking happened. And I remember after that I was like, I'm gonna go get a beer. I think I went and smoked a cigarette and just like hung out and couldn't wait to get the fuck out of there. I'm glad that hit you so hard.
That's the greatest shit ever.
So who's to say
the windmill?
Who's to say that there isn't an alternate universe where fucking Billy Joe's in the ground and
Billy Joe blew his face over his shotgun.
He was all depressed. And oh fuck. And then we went and we saw Kurt Cobain do a split, and then I said, fuck that, I'm out of here.
Kurt Cobain does a windmill into the split with pyrotechnics.
I'm sorry for the dead air. Holy shit. Pull yourself together.
Holy shit.
Okay, so all right. So yeah, I think that what Stan wrote is a very valid question, and I don't think you could. I don't think we have the mindset to be able to tell that. You could say that you think one way, but until bands are around forever, you know. Another example I was going to say before is the Rolling Stones is the same thing, man. They've just been around forever, and yeah, you look at like Exile on Main Street and Sticky Fingers and stuff, and you love those albums. But have you given a shit about the Rolling Stones in the last 20 years? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So I don't know. I don't know. I think as much as I love Nirvana, are you still laughing at this?
Billy Joe doing the windmill into the split.
It fucking happened, dude. This is great.
Into the split.
Man.
That happened at the end of American Idiot. He did a bunch of like arm pokes, like
yeah.
Looking like Terrence and Phillip.
All right. I'm glad that we at least gave the audience 10 minutes of a fine pre-written bit in the beginning of this show, because we have fucking laughing into the microphone is not a podcast.
That is the funniest thing going right now. Holy shit.
Oh, fucking A.
Oh, I'm crying.
Yeah, that was it for me, man. So I don't know.
I don't blame you, man. That is, I just pictured it 1,000 times, and that is sad.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so like Nickelodeon, you know?
Yeah, right, exactly. So I don't know. And he's wearing eyeliner and shit. Oh my god, you just not rocketed.
I can't even take a sip.
So anyway, thank you, Stan, for emailing us that question. And I've had this conversation before, probably to like great lengths when I was stoned and shit, boring everybody. Like, hey man, you fucking blah blah. But another thing that you brought up by talking to about Pearl Jam and Nirvana is a point that I've always had. I think I'm sure that I've said this to you before. What? I'm not Billy Joe doing a split.
I know. I just can't
Look
stop
into
thinking.
my eye.
I tried, and I couldn't stop picturing it.
I'm just gonna put myself ahead here.
I'm sorry.
You have it all pent up for trying not to laugh during that
I'm
bit.
trying. Okay.
My contention that I've had for a very long time is, and this is only major label releases. There might be some bands that it works for that have been on a minor, like independent labels their whole record, their whole career or whatever. But on major label releases, it's my contention. Don't laugh again. Is that the second album is always the better album.
Yeah. Oh, the sophomore effort.
Yeah, is always the better album.
Yeah, because they always try. You know what I mean? That's always like the make it or break it thing. If your second album's good, you're gonna last. If your second album sucks, you're done.
Yeah, it's weird. There's a couple exceptions that I guess you could say maybe even prove the rule or whatever. But
I guess Green Day could be considered a good one on a major label point of view. Not counting Kerplunk.
it's that's what I'm saying. It's always their major labels. So like
Green Day.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely was not as big as Dookie. That Insomniac Coke album.
Yeah, so you're saying that's an exception.
That's an exception. I mean, I love that record,
right.
But I'm saying like to the masses, I think that that.
But would you say Insomniac is better than Dookie? I don't think I would.
No,
I don't think
wouldn't
I would
say that. It's in its own world. That's what I like about it. It's just
Yeah, no, I get it.
That's a different band right there, almost. You know what I mean?
But would you say that In Utero is better than Nevermind? I would say so, hands down.
Yeah,
I think that's just a completely,
it's the way it's recorded and everything.
Yeah, it's just in the songs and everything.
Yeah.
And would you say that Versus is better than 10?
Yeah.
I would say so. I used to have so many more examples in this. I'm trying to think of like major label band. Here's another band. Well, no, actually that's an exception. And a lot of people disagree with this. Actually, I don't know.
Which one?
I was going to say Thrice. But actually
What's considered their second record? Illusion of Safety?
No. Well, here's what I'm going to say with Thrice is that they had the first album. I forget the name of it. Identity Crisis. That was like
that's considered their first.
No.
album.
Well, that's a very independent album.
Okay.
I would say Illusion of Safety is number one because I'm pretty sure that was just
that's considered their first album
on a big label.
Oh,
You see what I'm
okay.
saying? Just like Kerplunk and 1039 Sleep Out Sappy Hours and then Dookie, right? So you have Illusion of Safety. And then you have Artist in the Ambulance, which is a better album.
Illusion of Safety.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Yeah.
But there is a shit ton of people out there. I get more for people that are Thrice fans. I get more arguments about this than anything.
Really?
People love.
I thought that's no question.
That Artist in the Ambulance album. I think that is by far their least. That is their least favorite album of mine.
For me, what came out after Artist in an Ambulance?
Well, then
Miss You?
No. Well, yeah. Then they did that weird thing where they did the elements like they were playing a fucking Final Fantasy game, and I thought that kind of stunk.
I for some reason I thought that wasn't considered one of their records. I don't know why.
Well, it is kind of.
Oh, they have that record that's like half and half. Like, what was that all about?
I don't know.
It was like two different sections, like not side A or side B, but like
Major Minor.
Maybe that was it.
That was their last album.
That was
that was like
whatever.
That was Thrice playing 90s songs, and then Beggars was Thrice trying to play Tom Waits songs, which is I'm not making fun of. That was amazing. And then fucking whatever. But what I'm saying is that people love Artist in the Ambulance. They consider so that is kind
I've
of
heard that too.
That is kind of the rule there. Like it's the second album, the second effort. People like that, still like that the most. I personally don't.
You got to put as much effort as you got into that record.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
And first albums, I think it's almost, if you look at it this way, it almost makes sense. Like, you take a band that's signed to a major, they put out their first album. They're taking all the songs they got, whether they just wrote them or whether they wrote them years ago when they're gonna pick all their like freshest shit. You know what I mean? All their nicest shit
For the first album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be all over the road, but then again, that's what displays a band's talent. That's what's going to show their originality. That's going to show their style, because it's going to be all their personal favorites that they piece together for that first record. So of course it's going to show their style. And if it shows their style well, they get the second record. And when they get the second record, that's when they're like fucking established as a band. They've been through the studio. They see what works. They know where they want to go. And they just put it all into that record.
Right.
And if it hits, they're good. If it doesn't, they suck, you know?
Yeah, but I think
pack your shit and go home.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, it does make sense. Like, there are bands that are just one-hit wonders, and that's, probably why.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking of bands that are, like, prominent, that have been around for a very long time. I don't know, I've always just seen that.
Oh, I thought you were talking about, like, the sophomore effort.
No, I am. But that's what I'm
okay.
saying. Like, but they have to be around long. Like there's some fucking bands out there that maybe made a second album, but we don't know about it because it wasn't that great, and then they went away. Oh, here's another example: Weezer. I think Pinkerton's a better album than the Blue Album.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
You know, if we kept talking about this, I could come up with a million.
Weezer is a whole conversation in itself,
right?
Oh, that whole record.
Well, that was another thing. Like the Pinkerton album. You know, that bombed. That was not a, you know, and that even
he got
like,
real depressed over that.
Yeah, right. And there's actually a review that you could read in Rolling Stone where they just panned the shit out of that album and everything.
Really?
Because it was that same kind of thing that I was talking about with the Ghetto Kids, where everybody wanted the Blue Album Part 2. They gave them this kind of weirder, more kind of like out there, a little bit harder, a little bit looser the songs, and he's singing about being in love with an underage Asian chick, or and all this shit, and people are just like, oh, this isn't the Sweater song,
right?
So we don't like this. Now, if you talk to anybody now and you say, what's your favorite Weezer album, they're all like, Pinkerton's the best, Pinkerton's the best. But when that album came out, people fucking hated it.
I did notice little bits here and there of Pinkerton getting praises, like that you never seen before.
Yeah, well, they used to not.
I'm seeing like critics are liking it and they're giving all this credit. It's
well, now,
like, you would have never seen that before.
Yeah, now
it's happening today, like as we speak.
That's what I'm saying. It's now considered their best album, and rightfully so.
Shit's weird, man.
Because the music on it is their best music. So I'm not going to deny that.
I love that album.
But when we're old enough to remember when that album came out, and it was not liked. It was remember the video for El Scorcho? Like nobody like.
I didn't even know El Scorcho had a video.
Yeah. And they even got up into that kind of fast punk beat in the middle of that and shit. And like,
a little bit.
Like
they always throw that in.
To me, I was like, this is awesome.
I think they throw the Forbidden Beat on every record at least once.
Really? Where is it on the Blue Album?
You take your car. It's a variation of it.
Oh,
but,
okay.
They slam down on every record.
Okay,
for sure.
Well, I know one thing that Weezer does on almost not only every record, but almost every song is the patented fucking build up on the snare and toms.
Oh, always a build. Always a build. Sometimes he'll build on straight cymbals. Sometimes.
Yeah. So anyway, that is my theory, and I don't know if that relates to you, the home listener, if you think about the albums that you love and the bands that you love, but for some reason the second album always seems, and it's weird, like you said, because the first album is kind of just a culmination of probably songs that they've been playing for 10 fucking years in the clubs working out, and then the next album they have a year or two to write these songs, and but for some reason, I don't know, I have no idea.
I guess they take all their big classics, and that's all they had left. You know what I mean? And they were like, fuck, we got nothing.
Right. Yeah.
They empty their whole stable into album number 1. Then they're like, shit, where do we go from here?
I guess so.
Yeah. Well, that's music.
True. How's, I know, so you've been going through some stress with this whole thing?
Oh, yeah. I'm fine.
It hasn't affected your goal by any means? No. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I got some emails kind of fucking I always get emails with concern about you, because people are invested in your recovery.
Yeah, well, no, everything's all good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nothing new to report?
Nah.
We're getting dangerously close to Christmas.
Yeah, it's getting close. I
guess I guess after this podcast, because the next one we'll do would be on Tuesday. And I guess we're going to have to start using Christmas movies in the beginning of the next year.
Yeah. I got an idea for one.
What's that?
You want me to tell you?
Well, what's your favorite Christmas film of all time?
It's tough, but Die Hard's up there.
Okay, so that's a thing that people debate whether Die Hard's a Christmas film or it's not.
Of course it is.
I believe it is too.
Yeah.
But I've heard people debate otherwise that it's not. I mean, it takes place during Christmas.
Yeah.
But Christmas isn't the main theme of the fucking movie. You know what I mean?
Well, Christmas is what makes the situation what it is.
Okay. No,
You know?
I'm
if it wasn't Christmas, then they're just gonna have to say Ellis got a promotion, and that's why they're having a party on the 30th floor.
Yeah, right. No, I
so
get it.
Ellis could do mad coke and make a stupid face while he drinks Coca-Cola. Before he gets shot in the head over lying. What a fucking idiot, Ellis! You are fucking dumb.
What? Tell me the scene again. You are much more obsessed with Die Hard than I am.
Oh my God,
I've seen
I'm
it
so
like 2 or 3 times.
There's
You've seen
so
it
many.
18 billion times.
So it's just good scene after good scene. There's not one bad scene. Like if you like analyze every clip the camera takes during Die Hard, it's all good shots. There's
Right.
not one bad shot in
Right.
that movie. But anyways, it's that's definitely when Ellis is like, you know what? There's like 30 fucking rails of coke, and he's like, I'm gonna take care of this myself.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And he's like, I don't know who's gonna get us killed first, your husband or them. And he fucking buttons his shit up and goes to talk to Hans. What a fucking cokehead.
I it's blasphemy, and I know it. I know what I'm about to say is blasphemy to Die Hard fans, but I don't think Die Hard 1's my favorite Die Hard.
What do you like, 3 with Sam Jackson?
I love it, and I know it's
crafty, but
I know
it's
it.
not-
I know. I'm being like I'm not being true to the Die Hard series, but I'm not the biggest fan of the Die Hard movies. And but I do like them or whatever. But I don't think I even saw 2. 2's the one like on the plane
Sucks.
or something. Yeah,
It's terrible.
But
There's so
3
many holes in that movie.
3 was a great movie.
That's Die Hard's a perfect example where they pushed for that sophomore effort. It just failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, most movies.
Movies do.
The
Yeah.
second one.
Yeah,
There-
that's a little phenomenon.
There's been we could probably count the amount of sequels of movies that are better than the first one on one hand. Can't even think of like
Fletch Lives.
Yeah, okay. I think Fletch Lives is better than
Yeah.
Fletch. I was going to say Terminator is debatable. You know, a lot of people think the Terminator 2 is better than Terminator 1.
I like Terminator 2 better than Terminator
A lot of people do. I don't know if I do or not. You know, that's another one of those franchises, kind of like Die Hard, that I really don't. I've seen them all.
Yeah. Oh, I don't care about Terminator.
I don't care about them that
I'm
much.
saying, I would pick 2 over.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe I just, I'm just going to pick 2 because they played Guns N' Roses on them.
Definitely Home Alone 1 over Home Alone 2.
Okay.
Um,
Both Christmas movies, by the way.
yeah, I'm trying to go Christmas here.
Well, I'll tell you my favorite Christmas film of all time is Scrooged.
I love Scrooge.
Obviously.
It was on last night,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Greatest, I mean...
I love Scrooge.
That is there's 2 Christmas kind of things that I do every year. Scrooge is definitely one of them, and then the Muppets, not the Muppets Christmas Carol, the hour.
Oh, really? Because I love that one.
I love it too,
Yeah.
and I will watch that. But the hour-long Muppets special that they aired back, I think it was in the early '90s, maybe even the '80s, where it's all the Muppets. It's like Muppets, Fraggle Rock, and Sesame Street, and they all go to Fozzie Bear's mom's house for Christmas.
I thought that was the one with the ice patch.
Yeah,
Watch the ice patch.
Yeah, that one.
That's not Muppets Christmas Carol.
No, Christmas Carol is they actually do the Christmas Carol with the like Scrooge.
Oh yeah, that's nice. But no, I like the one you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
They all go to pot. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I have that on like VHS tape. I think
We saw that in the movies, didn't we?
It
That
never
shit's
came out in
great.
movies. It was on TV.
Really? I
Yeah.
thought we saw that in the
Yeah.
movies.
And I
Did we
think-
see a Muppets in the movies when we were like 8th grade?
I don't know, probably.
I think that was it.
But you could see if anybody wants to. If nobody, I'm sure a lot of you have seen this Muppets Christmas special.
You're talking about Fozzie's moms.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my
I forget
God,
exactly what it's
amazing.
called.
And they're all waiting for the chef to bring the ducks or whatever, or the chicken.
Yeah,
He's
right.
bringing them
Yeah, the
chicken.
Swedish chef.
Yeah.
But
great.
yeah, one of my favorite Christmas things of all time. You could see it. I think it's on YouTube. I think I found it on YouTube, and that's how I've been watching it the past few years. But great. And let me say this off of that is that I have had since this came out. I'm going to try to multitask here and find out when exactly it came out. But the number one song that I've had stuck in my head, and not even during Christmas, my whole life.
A Christmas song?
It is a Christmas song.
All right. I
Um,
hope you're not going to say that's a certain song.
what song?
That Paul McCartney Christmas song.
No.
Thank God.
No, it's a Christmas standard, if you will.
All right.
I've had it stuck in my head. It's the number one song that I've had stuck in my head.
Is it Melekaliki Maka?
It's Jingle Bell Rock.
All right.
has been stuck in my head since I was a child. Every day of my life, if I'm brushing my teeth or doing something mundane, I'm always like, ding, 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 ding.
That's crazy.
But it's not like a Bing Crosby or whatever version of Jingle Bell Rock. It's the version of Jingle Bell Rock that they play in that special with the Muppets with Dr. Tooth and his band, because they play it all together and they have like this big jam out in the thing. And I guess when I was a kid watching that, I loved so much that all the Muppets were rocking the fuck out. That Jingle Bell Rock got stuck in my fucking head.
You know what? There's songs that always make their way into my head that, you know what I mean, you find yourself jamming to in your mind, you know? I'm sure there's like, you know, one or two songs that always come back to me.
Well, have you had a song that's been stuck in your head your whole life?
I'm sure. And it will come to me and I'll be like, this is it. You know, because it always, like I said, it always comes back. You know, there'll always be a time when you think about the song you've always thought of.
Okay,
know?
It's a Muppet Family Christmas is what it's called.
Right.
It was released in 1987.
Really?
And you most certainly could go on YouTube and watch it. And it was a straight to TV thing. But,
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's everybody together, and Fozzie Bear has a little Abbott and Costello thing he does with a snowman and shit. It's great. It's great. It's good times.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's fucking good. But Scrooge is definitely. So anyway, I guess we're gonna have to start getting a little bit more into the Christmas spirit. Although it's hard to get into the Christmas spirit when it's fucking 67 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Today is December 12th. And I rode my bike for 20 miles wearing shorts and a t-shirt. It was very weird.
That's nice. Though.
Yeah, it's good. I don't know if I don't know about global warming or El Nino or whatever, but I enjoy it.
That's Spanish for the Nino.
I saw
Dirty Work.
That old bag.
I saw Dirty Work this morning. Chris Farley kills in that movie.
Oh, that's one of my favorite scenes of all time. When he's like, when they're about
when he acts to live at his apartment.
No, I was gonna say,
dude. Oh my god, I couldn't breathe.
When
so funny
when they're about to get into the brawl in the bar or whatever, and he's like Rolling Stones, Street Fighting Man, G7, and they're like, you hit G8 if you like pina coladas, and they got to fight to that shit,
dude. When he's sitting at the bar with Norm Macdonald, and Norm Macdonald's like, you know, tell him how hard time he's having, and Chris Farley's like, anything you need, I'm your man. Just tell me what you need. And Norm Macdonald's like, can I stay at your place? And in the same breath, Farley's like, see, the problem is this. And he goes into this long spiel about his roommate who has some type of weird gout and shit on his knee. And he's like, that thing's getting pretty right. And he's like saying how he had to get all this surgery. And Norm's like, all right, I get it. And the last thing Farley says is, you see his feet bleed. And Norm Macdonald's like, I don't want to stay at your place. He just keeps trying to make excuses because his roommate is bleeding feet.
That's the one where he got his nose bit off
by the Saigon Horse.
Yeah, Saigon Horse.
Holy shit, man! That conversation at the bar I was dying.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Getting pretty ripe.
Rich, it is 7:00 on the Swatch Watch, my friend. We got to get going to this concert. So I'm sorry to anybody who was expecting a Awkward High Five podcast last night, but here it is. We are back on track. There will be another one on Tuesday.
Yep.
And any last words?
No,
not that you're dying.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I was going to say if you're going to Starland tonight, but by the time you hear this, it'll be over with. So, okay. So we will see you guys on Tuesday. Thanks for listening. Oh, if you haven't, go on iTunes and
leave that review.
Leave a review. We got a few more reviews. Thank you. If you left a review and you
did?
Yeah, cool. And you want to email me your address, I will send you stickers. And then once there is 100 reviews, we're going to have our 100 review party where Richie's going to swallow a goldfish.
Yep.
Also, if you are on Twitter, please follow us at AwkwardHI5 at Twitter, so that we could get more pre-show conversations going on.
I just fixed my phone. I am a genius.
Really?
Ha.
Anyway,
in your tight white dress.
You want to bring us out with a live performance?
There was. Take that.
Thank you for listening to the Awkward High Five podcast. We will see you in a few short days.
So many smoke-filled years have passed, wrapped in paper inside glass. My eyes were red when you were here, but now you're not and they're clear, my dear. Hey lover, where did you go? I'm not high and I'm not low. If I knew a breakup, man, I can't break you up and taste you again. With love, with breath, wanna smoke you up. Even though my chest hurts, smoke you up. Get more pain, less, wanna smoke you up. Inhale my best.
Thanks for listening to the Awkward High Five podcast. For more episodes, visit awkwardhigh5.com.